Each animal has their own way of bringing their babies into life, but have you ever wondered what is the craziest way? There is no right answer to that, but we made a list of some of the animals' craziest births that might give you the answer you're looking for. You think humans have it bad when it comes to giving birth? Well, once you've seen this list, you might have to think again. So here are the crazy ways animals give birth. Number 12, Prehensiletailed porcupine. These types of porcupine species are native in South America and tend to live on trees and rarely descend to the ground. What makes this species interesting and why it's on the list is that during birth, they have to go through two difficult phases. One being that the babies are actually born fully quilled, where as soon as their quills get exposed to air, they harden. So giving birth to that is quite extreme, and to make it even more difficult, they tend to give birth while being high in the tree. This raises the question whether the newborn baby will fall on the ground or not. Even though it's not likely to happen, we still do believe it could potentially happen in the wild. Number 11, giraffes. These long-necked animals are quite famous for their way of giving birth. If you've ever seen a baby giraffe, you can immediately notice the long legs and neck. What is interesting, and unlike other animals, is that they end up giving birth while standing up. It might not sound as shocking to you guys, but keep in mind how tall these animals are. After 15 months of pregnancy and being in labor for 30 to 60 minutes, the giraffe proceeds with the birth and pushes the baby out. The baby then drops for about 2 meters to the ground. And that might sound risky and life-threatening, but it's a necessity because it ruptures the amniotic sac, allowing the baby to breathe on its own. Number 10, Duckbilled Platypus. This animal presents one of the 5 mammals that actually lay eggs. That alone sounds strange enough. We are used for animals not to lay eggs, but such as this platypus, there are a few species that instead of the regular birth that mammals experience, they lay eggs. The female platypus creates a burrow where she can lay her eggs. Then the eggs gestate for 2 weeks, where after that the mother incubates them for an additional 10 days by keeping them warm with her tail. Then, when the time comes for the eggs to hatch, the platypus helps by breaking the shell with the developed egg tooth and with a small bump they have on the snout called the carbuncle. Number 9. Suriname toads. Toads and frogs are known for laying eggs as their form of birth. They usually lay them someplace safe and keep them guarded until they hatch. Well, this species of toads took the guarding thing a bit too personal. Instead of finding a safe place, the toad carries the eggs on her back. And that isn't the strangest part. As the male toad fertilizes the eggs, he places them on the mother's back, where over time skin grows on top of the eggs and keeps them protected until they hatch. After 7 days, the baby toads hatch and they crawl out through the holes of their mother's back. Because of that, it looks like the toad is giving birth through her back, which is definitely a crazy thing to see and witness. Number 8. Tenrec. Much like the porcupine, the tenrec has a similar way of giving birth to their young ones. Their entire skin is covered with spines and that are soft while inside the womb, and as soon as they get exposed to air, they harden. You can pretty much see the similarities between the porcupine and the tenrec. The difference is that the spines that the tenrec has, he has them for life. The only difference that makes the tenrec have a both extreme birth and is far more dangerous from the porcupine is that instead of one baby as the porcupine gives birth to, this animal tends to have between 2 to 10 babies per litter, which is definitely a lot of spikes for giving birth. Number 7. Spotted hyenas. Hyenas have probably one of the deadliest and most deadliest bursts out of all of them. You might think that it's like any other animal, but no. Because of their high level of testosterone that female hyenas have, it makes their labor process quite risky. They give birth through their clitoris, also known as pseudopenis, which acts as a birth canal. What is risky is that the birth canal is only an inch wide, and it makes it really difficult for the mothers to push out their baby. Because of this, many babies do not survive due to suffocation being the number one risk. But also the death of first-time mothers is also pretty high while giving birth. It is definitely one of the riskiest births ever seen among animals. Number 6. Hammerhead sharks. Can you even imagine giving birth without mating? Well, the hammerhead shark has been proven to give birth even it's on her own in the tank. This is first noticed in 1999, when a hammerhead shark gives birth, and she was the only hammerhead in the tank. They were able to fertilize their own eggs without the need for a male. And this is a huge shock for everyone, even a scientist, and they ended up calling this virgin birth parthenogenesis. You are practically making a mini version of yourself, and to this day, only a few animals are known to do this kind of birth. Most common species that can give virgin birth are some of the species of gecko and lizards. Can you even imagine this type of self-fertilizing birth? Number 5. Kangaroos. Kangaroos are known for carrying their little ones in their pouch, but that is part of the reason why they made this list. Did you know that female kangaroos have 2 uteruses? And they use them to store in excess sperm so they can easily procreate offspring. So basically they can get pregnant whenever they want. As for birth goes, the baby enters the world in quite the early stages of development cycle. It goes from the birth canal to the mother's pouch, where he continues to grow for the next 9 months. That is definitely something to leave you questioning. For those 9 months are up, the newborn can come out of the mother's pouch and go on with its life. Number 4. Octopus. The octopus is the ultimate sacrifice a mother can make for their babies. After the female octopus lays her eggs, she begins a process where she stops eating and even stops moving. It just lays on top of her eggs until the eggs finally hatch. Once the time has come for the eggs to hatch, the mother dies. Some females in captivity even try to speed up the process of dying by banging their bodies on the side of the tank, and even start eating their tips of their tentacles. And if you think the males have it easy, you're wrong. Most of the time, females are known to kill and even eat their mating partners, and even if they don't, they die a few months later too. Number 3. Elephant shrew. If you look at an elephant shrew, the first thing you'll notice is how tiny this animal actually is. It grows to about 10 centimeters long and weighs no more than 43 grams. Why are they on this list, you ask? Well, the females get pregnant, their weight can increase by 50% if she has 2 babies. So if she usually weighs about 43 grams, about 20 or so grams of that is due to the babies, so half her weight. Because of this, the birth is quite complicated and extreme to a level. But once you look at the tiny little animals, you pretty much forget all about it. Number 2. Seahorses. Seahorses have probably the strangest way of giving birth ever. That is due to the fact that the male seahorse gives the birth. I heard that right. The female ends up producing the eggs, and once they are fertilized by the male, he then keeps them in his pouch and carries them until it's time to give birth. Now, seahorses are known to have up to 2,000 babies at a time, so you can imagine the burden the male seahorse carries. He both carries them and gives birth to them, all of them at once, and you get to feel bad for them a little bit. But hey, it's nice to see a reversed role for once. Number 1. Kiwis. This bird has one of the largest eggs in the world compared to the size of the bird. The kiwis are having a difficult time during birth due to the size of the egg that makes up 25% of the mother's body. It takes 30 days for the egg to fully develop in the female kiwi before she is ready to lay the egg. To make things easy for you guys to understand, the size of the egg is almost equivalent as to a human being giving birth to a 4-year-old. Could you even imagine if that was a possibility among humans? The size of the egg is so big that by the time the baby bird hatches, it's fairly developed. On a related note, we wanted to know which one of these animal births shocked you the most. Let us know in the comments section below. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.